Hello everyone, let's do a primer on scales. This is a really important thing. Yes, it's music theory, but it's the most essential music theory. It's very basic and it's extremely important. I wouldn't be showing you it if it wasn't super important and you didn't really have to learn it, to be honest. So we're going to teach you it. The way the scale works, okay? And you'll just drill this in and just learn it and it'll be fine. Now, this will apply to single notes and the way they move, and it will apply to chords and the way they move. And even though those chords may have a different characteristic attached to them, like a and then some numbers after it or whatever, I'm not going to get too complicated with all that. As soon as you take it up another notch, so to speak, then it will be called the B with all those numbers after it. So it'll be the same thing, but just one up. Or indeed, the other way, if you were coming in the opposite direction, downwards. That now tells you that A is lower than B. So B is higher than A. So we go A, B, so that sort of counting up through the alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And there you go, right? There we stop there. However, there are little notes in between those steps. And those, if we're counting up like we're doing there, those are called sharps. A sharp. All right, so let's try putting some in. A, and then next is A sharp, and then B. So you've got the idea there, right? And then you like just the same. D, for example. Let's jump a bit further forward into D. D, D sharp, E. You see what I mean? So you've got that as a step in between to get you to those notes. That's if you're going up. If you're coming back down, you tend to call them flats of the other note at the other end. Okay? So, while it was A sharp, B, if we're coming down from B to A, and we're trying to get that way down, we go B, we don't go A sharp, A. That was coming up, A sharp, B, right? So coming down, we go B, B flat, A. And it's essentially the same note. The B flat is the A sharp, all right? It's essentially the same thing, but we're calling it B flat. So you'll learn it one way, you'll learn one of those positions. They're interchangeable. They are essentially the same thing. There's a theory reason on why you'd call it one way and why you'd call it another, and it's blah. I'm not going to teach you theory, okay? Nothing wrong with theory. Jump right in. Not my bag. Okay, so A sharp, B. Going back down, B, B flat, A. Do you get me? E flat. And then what's next after E flat? D. Going up from D, D, D sharp, E. Okay, cool. There are two exceptions. There's always rule breakers, isn't there, that makes it harder to learn. I know I didn't invent this, so don't shoot me. Right, the two exceptions are the B and the C. That doesn't have a sharp or flat interchangeable in between them. And the E and F. They just jump straight to the next note. A sharp, B, C. See what we did there? C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp. So you can see what we did there. We skipped the whole G sharp, the whole sharp thing and the whole flat thing between the B and the C and the E and the F. And that's just how it will work, So it won't go F flat, E either. It will just go F, E if it's going backwards. Now, the reason I got confused there and said G sharp is because I'm trying to think of a second thought to talk to you about, and we're going to jump in because that's part of scales. So we just took you through the alphabet with them there sharps going upwards, and we ended at G sharp. Now, At G sharp, you're thinking, where do we go now, Rob? Well, what do you think happens next if basically the last letter of the alphabet is G? What do you think would come after G sharp? Answers below, everybody. Stick it in a comment. What do you think before I tell you? Here it comes. Pause or here it comes. 3, 2, 1. And the answer is A. A comes next after G sharp. Or if we were going backwards and we were going one down from an A, what would that be? Put there number 2 dot and then an answer to that question in the comments. What do you think comes downwards after A? A. 3, 2, 1. It goes A flat, G. Of course, remember this wouldn't happen between the F to the E, the C to the B, because those are direct, like that. You know those are direct, because when you look at a piano, that's got those black keys and those white keys, right? We're not teaching piano, but it's a great way of showing you. Those black keys are the sharps and flats. And all those white keys are the A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And you will notice that those black keys go in like 2 black keys, some whites, 3 black keys, whites interspersed, 2 black keys, white interspersed, 3 black keys. So you'll notice it goes 2 black keys, 3 black keys, 2 black keys, 3 black keys. And so that is what gives it its quality. You can see it being represented there on the physical representation of a piano, which is a lot more apparent than it is on a guitar visually. But anyway, that's how a scale works. It's really important that you get this idea of what those notes are you play, especially when you get into these things called bar chords. We won't worry about that yet. You will be learning it. It will be essential. But it will be later.